The Red Pill are a bunch of bigots who can't get laid. A post by Red Pill School. They're all virgin neckbeards. Couldn't get laid to save their lives. I consider it somewhat ironic on a meta level, that the people saying this don't themselves see the irony. Recently we were deemed the most bigoted subreddit on this site. And of course the usual insults began to fly. We are, as everybody knows, just a bunch of sexless, angry nobodies. I'm hoping I've caught the attention of at least a few new people taking a peek to see what we're about. You're probably hoping to find evidence to support the popular opinion that we should be chided or ignored. The reason we are here and the reason we don't care about the insults are one and the same, because joining the Red Pill did not start the insults, instead the insults started the Red Pill. The irony sorely lost on the masses is in the call for equality, anti-bigotry, and whatever other causes your average social justice warrior stands up for. The public has doubled down and taken up the very weapons they decry. Shame and scorn against those they disagree with. Sexual shame and retribution for valuing sex. Smooth. They say that we're wrong in our assessments, and then revoke our manhoods by commenting on our inability to get sex. But they've got the order of operations down wrong. I'm not going to deny that we have had trouble with sex. That is the common thread that brings us here. Using sexlessness to dismiss us is precisely the behavior that brought men here to begin with. We were sexless. Our views and perspectives, our so-called bigotry did not lead us to a sexless life so you can conveniently dismiss our views. Instead, our sexless lives lead us to adopt these views as a last-ditch effort to reach sexual success. And most of us stayed here when we realized it was effective. But life isn't all about sex. You guys are obsessed. Right? I think it's pretty safe to say that most women don't really understand to what degree sex matters in the average man's life. He finds more than a physical release, he finds belonging and acceptance in sex. Sex for man is knowing you are wanted. The fact is, for most of our lives, we've come to accept that we are not sexually desirable to most, or all, women. Our advances left us crushed and depressed, were treated as creepy or worse than murder. Our relationships left us broken or broke. Our marriages crumbled. If you listen to pop culture, and believe everybody finds their special somebody, then we must have been the outcasts. The fact that commenting on our lack of sexual success is inherent in all public dismissal of us, virgin neckbeards, should help put this into perspective. Even the feminists and social justice warriors of the world denouncing sex as that important have made our manhoods, and therefore rights to have or speak an opinion at all, entirely dependent on our access to sex. Why would being a virgin or a neckbeard matter, unless sex truly does matter to our manhoods? I don't really buy the rationale that it does matter to be a man. But I do recognize that sex will still be important to man nevertheless. And so here I support such a hypothesis, and behold, 100 to 1,000 men in 2 years have flocked. You can dismiss us, our views, and theories. But you cannot dismiss the common need and problem that brought us together. I want to back up a little bit, and address the idea that we're social outcasts. Now, you'd think, every gender in every group has their outcasts. Looking back at high school, there were always those fringe groups that didn't quite get along. Some banded together in their unpopularity and played Dungeons and Dragons or wore funny-looking clothing. So what's the Red Pill? Just a group of pimply-faced nerds who never learned to talk to women? That's the problem here, the reason for our corner of the internet. It affects more than just the pimply-faced nerds, more than the short guys, more than the fat, the skinny, or the ugly. The changes to intergender relations over the past 30 years have started to affect all of us. You can see it in the declining marriage rates, in the studies that showed dissatisfaction among both genders in relationships, the sky-high divorce rates, and the endless stories of custody battles and alimony cases. The school shootings and the male suicide rate, the gamer scandals, and presidential campaigns. The declining rate of male college graduates and the women who don't care. the single mothers, and the children who hate men. We're not the sexless virgins. We're not the neckbeards. We're fathers, firefighters, pilots, drivers, teachers, engineers, students, bankers, and entrepreneurs who are tall, skinny, fit, fat, good-looking, ugly, old, young, happy, angry, sad, depressed, and everything in between. And we've all been affected by the changing environment. And none of us found compassion, belonging, or empathy in the very system that gave us this shared experience. Maybe we are bigots, maybe we hate women. Maybe we aren't, and maybe we don't. It's entirely superfluous to the point of why we're here. Attacking these points does not dismiss our existence, nor does it address it. It's up to you how you're going to deal with this information. RPB1 comments, start quote maybe we are bigots, maybe we hate women. Maybe we aren't, and maybe we don't. It's entirely superfluous to the point of why we're here. Attacking these points does not dismiss our existence, nor does it address it. End quote. We're not here because we're free. We're here because we're not free. There is no escaping reason, no denying purpose. Because as we both know, without purpose, we would not exist. We are here because of feminism. We're here to take from them what they tried to take from us, purpose. Agent Smith lines aside, what our detractors and critics fail to realize is that the red pill is an emergent property of the preeminent problem. That is, the ever-increasing encroachment of male subjugation, expandability, disrespect, and sexual constriction. We didn't wake up one morning and collectively decide to call women on their bullshit because misogyny. We suffered through our early lives doing what women in television told us to do and decided to do things the successful way, our way. Their hamsters are stuck in a loop while we decided to get somewhere using our own 2 feet as sovereign individuals whose prerogative is to find satisfaction in our lives on our terms. They don't hate us for our views, they hate us for their lack of power over us. They've become so entrenched in their narcissism that the notion of using effort and offering value beyond their pussy is heresy itself. A man who cannot be controlled by sex cannot be used by women, and the idea of the chickens coming home to roost scares the shit out of them. The irony though is that many of us don't care about women that much anymore, we just want to be free to enjoy our own slice of pie in peace. We are giving ourselves the respect we were denied by people who offered rhetoric instead of solutions. Fuck them, I've got my own life to live. JP_Horgan comments, it's been said before, and I'll say it again, the red pill is the radical notion that women are people. They are not special snowflakes. They do not have an inherently predisposed tendency towards chastity, towards compassion, towards loyalty, towards affection, towards empathy or towards any other righteous quality that the feminine imperative society tells us that women have. See, this is what outsiders now define as misogyny. Anytime a man calls one of the aforementioned qualities into question regarding women, we are told that we are bigots who hate women, simply because we are suspicious of their motivations and inclinations. No, we are simply stating that women can have motivations that are just as selfish, deceitful, and ruthless, maybe more so, as the motivations that men can harbor. Yes, when a woman divorced rapes her husband and takes his kids from him for no other reason than unhappy, she is a fucking self-centered bitch who's only looking out for her own interests. I'm not a misogynist for saying so. Yes, when a woman leads a man on into orbiter zone, dangling a false carrot of implied future sexual relationship, only to get him to buy things and do things for her, she is a self-centered bitch who's only looking out for her own interests. I'm not a misogynist for saying so. When a man musters the balls to approach a woman, and she publicly ridicules him, shames him, and nuclear rejects him for her own self-amusement, rather than just a polite, no thanks, she is a narcissistic cunt with no regard for the feelings of other people. I'm not a misogynist for saying so. In all 3 of these examples, these are the same exact judgments that I'd levy against a man who engaged in the same behaviors. After all, women are people.